Hey guys, so this video is specifically for Priscilla and Maria. You guys have asked me how I cook, and I'm gonna go from start to finish. So first thing, I have two pans. Usually the way it works is that we're gonna heat up this pan, and the heat from this pan is gonna transfer to whatever you're cooking. So this is where most people mess up. So this is a stove, right? So this is gonna be fire coming out of the stove to heat up the pan. Now if you're actually putting the pan over here, as you see, the fire is not going into the pan. So that pan is not gonna heat up. So all you have to do from here is pull the pan this way, right? So now it's heating up. Now that pan is already on this burner, so I have to make sure this burner is on, right? So after I've done that, I can move it aside and see that it's the same burner because it has that blue flame, and that's. So now we have to make sure that it doesn't stick. So I have the non-cook spray. So the first thing you want to know about this spray is that it's not gonna work because we have this lid on top of it. So in order to, you can use different techniques. What I do is I grab the thing and just kind of pop it off, right? So you have this button. So don't point this towards your eye. I think it says it on there because it's gonna take the oil out. So we're gonna direct this towards the pan and we're gonna push this button, right? You can like push this, test it to see how it works, and now we're gonna apply it to the pan. So I'm going to do something here. Don't worry about this. This is very complicated. This is when you get really expert level, when you reach your expert level for cooking, then you can mess around with this stuff. So let's just not worry about what this is. It's making some sound. So here's where you're going to come into a problem. So these are 4 burger patties, which is what I've always said that you can eat, right? So you have to get into this to acquire the meat. So you can't put it on top of the pan like this, because we're gonna have problems, the heat won't go in there, and this is not, you're not gonna eat the box, so you can't eat the box. So these burger patties are always gonna come in the box, and the technique I use, you can use your hand or a scissor. I just kind of rip it off, right? And then we have our meat here. Now there's still another step, so you still haven't acquired your meat. So you can use something like a knife, right? Oh, this is too big of a knife. I don't want to dirty that shit. Oh, so this one works. So you have this piece of plastic between you and your food, right? And now you have a knife. So we're gonna, you see that? Problem solved. So this is where most people kind of get stuck. So we kind of pull this out. Now you have acquired the actual food you're gonna eat. So one thing to make sure is we know this is actual paper and this is actually the food. So we want to make sure that we separate the paper from the food. So now I'm going to put this inside the pan. So that's one. That's 2. And then, so you'll see that this pan has run out of space. So what you can do is, most people don't realize this, that I can actually do the same thing in another pan. So again, I'm going to recap. This you cannot eat. This you cannot eat. This pink stuff you can eat. That's good. So I'm going to get rid of this. So this part gets a little tricky. It's some technical terms I'm going to be using. A lot of people use the word spatula. Spatula can be confusing. Just so you can remember, just call this a flat stick thingy, right? So we have a stick and this is flat. So if you can remember spatula, you can Google it, but just a flat stick thingy is going to be easier, right? So you want it flat because the burger, as you saw, it was a flat surface. then the flat surface, so this is the burger, right? This is the burger patty. So this flat surface is going to go underneath the burger patty, right? And then you can flip it over. So the other side can now get heat, right? So right now the bottom is getting heat. That's going through the pan because the pan is on top of the flame, right? So the pan has to be on top of the flame and the burger has to be on top of the pan. And we have to take the plastic and all that stuff off. So these are key. So now this thing is going to go under. So if you put it on top of the burger, right, it's not going to work. You have to put it at the bottom of, like look, I'm putting it at the top of the burger, look, no burger. But if I put it at the bottom, right, see what happens. And then, so just like that, you said, can that technique work on every burger? The answer is yes. You can do that same technique on each burger. Look. Now, yes, I know this is crazy, but the same technique can work on a different pan with a different burger patty. I know once you get that first thing down, remember, flat surface underneath the flat surface, then flip it over. Burger goes on top of the flat stick thingy, not at the bottom. So burger, flat thingy on bottom. Let's try this again. Fuck yes. And we're back. So that was the fire alarm going off. Perfectly normal. Don't worry about it. If you are a female and you're cooking, just assume it's going to go off. It's just perfectly normal. You just have to figure that shit out. So anyways, we're back. The burgers I've turned off. The fire alarm also I've turned off. And these are done. Now, meat is done. Food is done. How to acquire your meat. Remember that spatula trick or the flat stick thingy trick that I showed you? It's going to be exactly the same. Now, check this out. Goes underneath. And now, you can put it on the plate. Goes underneath. Put it on the plate. Goes underneath. Put it on the plate. Now, the last part. This is where most people go wrong, because now check this out. The size of your mouth is a lot smaller than the size of the meat, right? Right. So, we're going to figure this out. You can use a knife or you can just use a fork. If you have muscles, you can probably just use a fork, or I can show you in the next episode how to use a knife. So, flavor. I have this really cool contraption that puts salt on there. I'm not going to go over this thing. It requires a lot of science. This is some Star Trek shit. So, really complicated. All you got to do is acquire salt and put it on there. And if you don't know how to get the salt and put it on top of this, at least you have the burger patties. Somebody else can help you out with this. Hot sauce. I use the twist technique. All right. So ladies, this is your meal plan. You eat one burger patty. If you're still hungry, start eating that one. If you get full by the time you're done with that patty, you stop. But if you're not full, you finish that one. Alright? You're still hungry, start eating that one. If you're full by the time before this burger patty is done, you stop eating. But if you're not full, you keep eating. Now, if you're still hungry, you can do the same process with this burger patty and keep going until you're not hungry. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply force. Cut that burger patty. Now, remember to chew it before you swallow, otherwise we can have issues. So chew first, swallow second. And that, my friend, was the first and only episode of Cooking with Grandmaster Gaines. That's all you need to do whenever you're hungry and you're good. Thank you. Bye-bye.